We might be so back. After getting a Persona 3 remake, there are many whispers that a Persona 4 remake is on the horizon. And while I think it's far too soon for that, it seems inevitable at this point. So, I'm going to talk about some things I want for the remake. This is a bit rushed since there's an idea of when this might be announced, so some of you may not know this, but Persona 4 Golden is my favorite game of all time, and they have one chance to remake it. You can't try this again. I've got 7 things I want to see in the remake, so let's just reach out to the first one. Oh, and spoilers for the game, by the way. This is for people who have already beaten Persona 4. The first thing I want is some of the gameplay tweaks that come from Persona 5 and 3 Reload. Shifting and Theurgies. Shifting, or the baton pass, is a staple at this point. Being able to shift would be huge for Persona 4, where it also benefits from revolving around your party to exploit weaknesses and finish off enemies with all-out attacks. As for Theurgy, it'll probably be renamed since that word is Greek and fits with the personas used in 3 by the team. But the core idea, I believe, will transfer well. Everyone having super moves will allow for more strategy, and maybe some bosses can anticipate them as well. The second thing I want to see is more meaningful hangout opportunities. Now, what do I mean by that? During nighttime in Golden, you could talk to your daytime social links again for a chance to farm some points with them. And they might comment about the current events in the game and the story, or comment on the state of the link, so if you weren't able to rank up with them during the day, this could be another chance to do so for next time. Of course, there is also the Shrine Fortunes, but that is vital for all social links in case you have no way to hang out with them during a particular time. But what I'm aiming for is something similar to what you can do with your teammates in Persona 3 Reload. You see, you can partake in activities with them, from watching TV to reading books or cooking. I'd like if you could do something similar with this game, and while it wouldn't work like that with the context of Persona 4 since you live with your family, I can see some activities in the shopping district work, like say you eat at Aya's with Chie or Yosuke, discuss books with Naoto or Yukiko, or invite Teddy to help with gardening. There's probably other ideas, but you have to really think about it. But the point is, this could be how you not only get closer to your party members, or also raise your character stats from these activities, but also work on their characteristics, assuming that is carried over from Reload. My third suggestion is to make the endgame more challenging. A problem I have with Persona 4 Golden is that the final dungeons can become a joke if you get your teammates with their newer ultimate personas. That's because Atlus didn't make any proper adjustments to the final dungeon, since you can access it whether you have done Marie's content or not. Now they have an opportunity to rectify that. Persona 4 is notorious for its challenging early game, but once you get settled in, the mid-game becomes much more bearable, and the endgame is a wash once you get your party members their new ultimate personas. I'd like it if they make the endgame more challenging, as well as the mini-bosses and, well, common enemies, and even the final boss like Izanami. She could use a chance to be tougher. Nyx felt even easier in Reload, so I will not be surprised if this doesn't come true. My fourth suggestion is that they incorporate Marie into the story that feels more natural and less shoehorned compared to Golden. Now, Marie is already a controversial character as some love her and others hate her. I'm more in the middle, but I can for sure tell you that I think she's a bit forced in. And that anime did not help. Anyway, this time they have an opportunity to put her in the story in a way that feels less forced and more belonging. Perhaps having her socialing redone to be partially automatic like Adachi's could be good, although you still will need to have normal rank ups for the sake of introducing her to the others and seeking out a relationship if you really want to do that. My fifth idea is, of all these ideas, the one that is the most likely coming true. First, I'll just say it. I am totally fine with Atlus recasting the majority of the original dub actors, and this one might be coming true, given the slew of recent posts by some of the voice actors, mainly Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Yosuke. This is why I'm rushing this video out, by the way, but before you bust out the pitchforks, just hear me out. First off, I do not know why everyone is so shocked by this. They already did this with the Persona 3 cast, so it was expected that this was going to happen. And look, if they could somehow get all the original actors to come back on board for this, I would be very happy with that. So if you're wondering why I'm okay with that not happening, it is because I don't think it will. Laura Bailey and Troy Baker have become much bigger voice actors in the scene, and Naoto's original voice actress, I'm not even sure about that one. We already know Yuri, Aaron, and Amanda Wynn Lee are all down to return, and I'm certain Johnny Young Bosch and Sam Riegel are also down to come back. I'm not so sure about those three, and it wouldn't be the same without them. Every voice was right for that game, and seeing one be gone would stand out. So, if it came to that, I would rather we wipe the slate clean and start over. I will say though, I do wonder if Margaret will keep her current VA, Marisha Ray, or if they'll return to her original one, Michelle Ann Dunphy. But considering we haven't heard her in a voice role in over 10 years, I'm not holding my breath on that one. Either way, whatever happens, I'll live with it. I trust Atlus will hire the proper voices who can breathe new life into all these characters. My sixth point is more of a hope. I have a bad feeling they'll do this, but for God's sake, Atlus, please, for the love of God, don't take away all the cool costumes and alternate outfits and lock them behind DLC. Look, if it's something newer that came out after Persona 4 Golden, like say the Shujin outfits, SMT stuff, Metaphor, or whatever, sure, that makes sense. But if you lock away the GeckoCon outfits, the Velvet Room attire, or the goddamn Featherman outfits, I'm gonna be so annoyed. But who am I kidding? They're gonna milk our wallets. I just know this is going to happen. And finally, my seventh and final idea I'd like to get across. And it's going to take a bit to explain, so strap in. So as we all know, the answer was the DLC everyone expected with Reload and eventually got, which makes sense. Now, what would Persona 4 have? There are no major story events that take place that matter. Sure, there is the Dancing All Night one, but that's a spin-off dancing game. That would not work since the story doesn't even have traditional combat. However, there is one story that does potentially go that route. The Sho Minazuki story, aka the Arena Duology. Now, I do not see them remaking the Arena games, and they should not. Ultimax is available on PC and some other modern consoles, and that's well and good. I say this could be completely reimagined and converted into a story where JRPG combat fits in. There can still be major story beats like with Labris, the Shadow Operatives, and of course Sho Minazuki himself, but what I'm suggesting is definitely put out there and needs a ton of thinking and planning to work. As I said before, I don't see a need to remake the Arena games. They're great and still hold up on their own, but if they're going to release major DLC content, I think that would be a fun venture. I could keep going with explaining this potential reimagining, but I think that's a good point to stop and call it here. Alright, so hopefully this will be released before the Xbox showcase, and if it is and the Persona 4 remake is announced, great. And if it isn't, even better. As I said before, this is my favorite game of all time, and they only have one chance to remake it, and I want it to be as close to perfect as possible. If it were up to me, I'd wait till Persona 6 comes out so they could add more gameplay ideas to enhance the Persona 4 experience even further. But it's looking like Atlus would rather create a world where Persona 5 lasts forever, what with the gacha finally coming stateside. Ugh. Well, whenever it does get announced, I'll still be screaming, 10 more years of Persona 4, baby. Do I hear 20? Thanks for watching. Do share any ideas or hopes you'd like to see with the inevitable Persona 4 remake. I'll see you all next time.